successful nation, and the Democrats do it for the votes. The rich do it for the cheap labor and the cheap maids. They strut around like they're Martin Luther King. No, who is our immigration policy hurting? And this is the post-1965 immigration. We're bringing in millions and millions of people from very poor cultures, from very backwards cultures. No, our social programs are for the American poor. They are for
let me just point out to you that you're sitting
the American working class.
Two immigrants, and I don't think either of us qualify as poor maids. But I wanted to ask you, what's your family's immigration story? Are you a Native American?
Why, yes, I am. I'm a settler. I'm descended from settlers, not from immigrants.
Well, it's not a Native American. But I have a question for you.
It's just an
no, if you mean Indian,
if you mean
well, no, but I'm not living in Cherokee Nation, so I am not an immigrant to Cherokee Nation. I'm living in America, which was created by settlers, not immigrants.
I have a question.
But
can I interrupt you for 2 seconds, please?
Yes, the poorest
I have a question. My mom taught me when I was younger, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And why do you think that it's important? Why do you think that's important to mudsling and have these words that obviously touch the hearts and souls of so many people of America being said when we're taught something different as a child? Could you explain that to me? And why do you think your success is based off of that?
Well, I'm at least talking about policy. You have a position on what people's names should be. Watermelondria. I mean, you'll insult people for their names. I'm talking about a government policy that affects all Americans and immigrants and the people living here, and it's harming our country.
So are you?
So you don't follow it.
Are you against?
I didn't ask you. Okay.
That it's interesting, and in particular that you said you haven't written about identity politics or women or whatever, because it was you who wrote back in college that conservatives have a difficult time with women. That was you. And I want you to know, I completely agree.
Well, that's been a while when you have to go back to when I was 18. And it was technically
Wait, I didn't think it was that long ago.
An article about pornography, which I am not a fan of. It was a socially conservative article. I thought it was a clever title, but good one. Can I respond? Because I do think, I mean, that is just a smear, and the same smear we hear about every single Republican. Oh, white males, white males. It's the happiest comedians. Oh, it's a white male. Can you please move on from that? I mean, you have beaten the horse to death. The horse is dead. We have to drag the horse out of the room. We just stop with the white male stuff. Is that he has always cared about the working class. Always, always, always. He's given interviews talking about his rich friends on Fifth Avenue don't really like him, and the people he really gets along with are the working class and the cab drivers. I mean, he grew up working on... Okay, the fake laughter is very impressive. That's such a good argument. He grew up on construction sites, which is why this constant running down of this country, you have no idea how good you have it, women of America.
So wait a second, whoa. Can I just say, wait a second. Can I just say, I love this country. I love this country. It's a great country. This is not, excuse me, did someone just say, no, you don't? That is outrageous, and that's offensive. No, I'm sorry, but excuse me, we can disagree about what's best for the future of this country and still love this country, right? We can also say we support women and disagree about policy for women. So don't even go there. That's beyond the pale.
I was responding to Janice, who said some things so don't act like I'm responding to something you said. I mean, this is the problem with having 2 and 2. I was responding to Janice. If she wants to say something to what I said, it's her turn now, because I was attacking what she said.
I defer to Sally because we just interrupted her.
Well, okay, then the answer is not, I never said that.
No,
That's not an answer, because your co-panelist did say that. Your co-panelist did say that.
Not you.
So don't answer, I never said that. I'm not responding to
Can I ask a question? I have a question, which is, listen.
Let's face it, neither Donald Trump nor Hillary Clinton Neither one has a good record when it comes to veracity. And if you go to any of these
False. Absolutely false. Hillary is a liar. Trump is a BSer. He'll say, I called 1,000 people when he called 10.
Oh, I didn't realize there was
no
a difference.
evidence that he lies. Of course there is.
Is it called lying when a woman does it, but BS when a guy does it?
That's what it is, Sally.
They're the same thing.
You caught me. No, saying I never sent classified documents through email, that's a lie.
You know what? Listen, I love when it's like, oh, Donald Trump, the working people love Donald Trump because Donald Trump says they love him. He also says the Mexicans love him. He also says the Muslims love him. They don't. I don't know which Mexican you've been hanging out with, but all the others
back and the wages are going up.
All the others.
You got to talk to your maid, Sally. She wants her wages to go up.
Wow. Amazing political feat. He deserves tremendous credit for that. It helped us keep our majorities, but it also showed the country that people don't like the direction we were going.
Well, I was the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Paul Ryan, earlier today. For the past few months, Ryan had been, well, no fan of Donald Trump. And Coulter is a fan. In fact, some credit the ideas in her book, Adios America, as a blueprint for some of Trump's campaign promises. Ann Coulter joins us from New York tonight. So where did we all get it so wrong? And when I say we, I mean the collective we the media, we the pollsters, at least almost all of them, and quite frankly, the parties too. Even they were saying last night they were not expecting this result, both parties. So what weren't we seeing out there?
The pent-up rage at both political parties, mostly over the issue of immigration. I'm quite obviously that became, as I describe in my book, In Trump We Trust, in his opening speech, he talks about a lot of things, a lot of big, hot-button issues. But the chant that came to define his campaign immediately and right through the end was the chant, build the wall. And I know you've been playing some immigrants in America saying, oh, what's he going to do to Muslims and what will he do to us? The main point is, can we think about Americans for a little while? We've been thinking about the poor illegal aliens and the poor Muslim refugees who aren't living in this country already. But what about the people already here? Immigration is just a government policy like any other government policy, but it's the only one that politicians don't even, and the media, don't even think about saying this should be designed to help the people who already live here. And that's what I think it was the pent-up rage at both political parties who have been serving the donors and the plutocrats who want lots of low-wage immigration because they want the cheap labor, and the Democrats who want the votes. But Americans still care about America.
I'm still not quite sure why we missed that happening, because it's not like we didn't just see it through the Brexit vote. There was a lot of that in that. We see it and we heard it just a few moments ago in some of the anti-immigrant stand taken by different parties in Western Europe that are on the rise. So it's a puzzle that it's kind of went by unnoticed if it was that degree of rage that was making, plotting this turnout that we saw yesterday.
Well, I saw it coming, and I begged Republican politicians to take up the issue. Luckily, I didn't have to do any begging with the great Donald Trump. It's not as if Americans looked around the country and thought, I know, we need a reality TV star to be president. That's not why he crushed his 16 opponents in the primary and then won an election with the entire media, his own party and the other party working against him. It's because, he saw the $1,000 bill lying on the sidewalk and said, hey, I think I'll pick that up. I've been begging members of my own Republican Party, the ex-Republican Party, not the new Trumpian Republican Party, to please do something about immigration. I mean, I've been talking about this in speeches for a long time and then wrote Adios America. There were other issues that were being talked about in the media. I was never invited on TV to talk about immigration, but I could work it into the conversation. That was never.
As you're doing well tonight. Let me ask you though. This becomes now the question for people like you. It's one thing to deliver through the primaries, one thing to deliver during a campaign, another thing to deliver if, in fact, you win. And people are pointing today to a number of comments that Donald Trump has made in the past few months, like this one that I just want to play in an interview that he gave to Lester Holt a couple of months ago at NBC. Watch this.
Are you going to be a different guy as president than the one we see?
When you're president, or if you're about to be president, you would act differently. I want to be different. When you're president, you act in a different way. There's no question about that.
Now, that's given some people pause, whether he's talking about style or substance. And a lot of people assume he's talking about substance. And once, as we've seen in so many other past new leaders, they start flip-flopping. Are you concerned that that'll happen on issues like the one that concerns you so much, immigration?
No, I'm not at all. I was worried about him backing away from his opening speech when he lost, what, $100 million the first week. That's why it took me about 48 hours to say that he would be the next president after that opening, what I call the Mexican rapist speech, because we've been betrayed so many times before. But no, the way to be popular, the way to get ahead is not to take Donald Trump's stands on these issues. He has absolutely been rock solid. And no, I think what he's saying is sort of a commonplace. I mean, you speak differently when you're talking to your wife versus your employer versus your children versus your mother. Yeah, there's a different bearing you have. He probably won't be tweeting out funny things as president of the United States anymore, but we're getting a wall. He's renegotiating trade deals, and we're going to start deportations.
All right. Well, let me ask you a series of quick yes or no's on things like you've just mentioned. Wall, that's going to happen? Yes?
Absolutely.
Deport millions. Is he going to deport millions?
Yes. I never understood this idea that, is there a time limit to it? I mean, we don't need a deportation force. They don't have to be gone in the first week, but he's explained very clearly. Just let ICE, that's our immigration enforcement outfit, just let them do their job. They're being prevented from doing their job now.
What are they? I mean, there have been more people deported under Obama than anyone else in the past, no?
No, that's a myth. They changed the definition of deportation to include people turned away at the border. No, it has gone down dramatically under Obama, and President Bush wasn't exactly, you know, a warrior against illegal immigration. He tried to pass amnesty. Both political parties have completely let the nation down on defending the borders and protecting Americans, just allowing immigration to do its job.
All right,
yeah,
what about
eventually we'll get to millions.
What about Muslims? He's been kind of all over the map on that one. What has to happen on Muslims entering the country? Anything?
Well, there are lots of people who do not live in the United States. Billions, I believe. None of them have a constitutional right to move to America. It is the president's authority to determine and can have broad categories. If we want to, we can say only redheads. We can say no redheads. The idea is, let's take people who are good for this country. Not only, you know, people who are smart and educated and not likely to go on welfare, but people who aren't likely to commit terrorist acts against us. I mean,
so
it seems quite common sense.
You don't think he should rule out all Muslims altogether?
No, I mean, no one, I think, seriously understood him to mean that, even when he said he was calling for a ban on Muslims. As my friend Peter Thiel said, right, but as my friend Peter Thiel said, the media refuse to take Trump seriously, but they insist on taking him literally, whereas everyone else listening to him, like me, take him seriously, but not literally. Look, this is a figure, I never thought it meant every single Muslim.
Well, he's going to be president now.
Okay, this is the basic policy.
Right, he's going to be
this
president now.
This is the policy, there will be exceptions.
Yeah, but
we
as
got
president,
the point
we'll have
of
to
it by
take him
saying
literally,
that.
right? We're running out of time.
No. This is pretending not to understand the English language in order to attack someone. It's been done to me my whole life. It's very annoying. It was never intended that way. Yes, there will be a general policy against Muslims, and yet there will be exceptions.
What about, here's the last one, the lock her up crowd, who have been very vocal for the last few months. Does he prosecute Hillary Clinton? Yes or no?
Possibly. I mean, you're not above the law in this.
Should he?
Well, the FBI is looking at crimes that may have been committed. And just because you run for president and just because you're a Clinton, you don't get a pass on breaking the law. It's not a question of whether he prosecutes. It's what the FBI finds.
All right. We're going to have to leave it at that. We obviously could go on. There's lots of other areas. But we're glad we had this opportunity to chat with you for a bit. Ann Coulter in New York tonight. Thank you.